Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Slamhub Wrestling. Myself, Suprit, and this is your AEW Dynamite review for June 4th, 2021. I'm joined by Abhishek and AJ. What's up, baby?
Absolutely fine, Suprit. How about you?
After Double or Nothing, I'm pretty much doing great.
Mm-hmm. But this week's show, man, it was such a fucking letdown. You know, Double or Nothing was here, and this week's show was fucking here, or you can say down the fucking drain. The crowd was fucking shitty, and you can say just this was. Uh, you can say that show was Double or Nothing. That was double, and this show was fucking nothing.
I think it
Such
has
a
to
fucking
do.
letdown.
It has to do with the burnt up crowd from Sunday.
Possibly.
Same venue, less audience. 90% were
Hmm.
the same people who were on the pay-per-view coming to attend the Dynamite taping.
Hmm. Many of them would have, left the place, probably till Tuesday or something like that. So they would not have been there till Friday. So uh, that crowd was fucking shitty. This Dynamite crowd, you know, fucking
And,
killed everything.
and it's going to be a norm for the rest of June.
Let's see. I should, I am optimistic. Hopefully, next week brings, something good, and the crowd is more responsive to the happenings. Because if this is going to be the norm for the rest of the shows till I guess it's July 7th or something like that, so you know it would be very hard to watch.
I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but the next 2 weeks are taped.
Oh, okay.
So energy is
More
going to
pipe
be
noises.
more piped in noises, and energy is going to be way down.
Oh, hopefully the happenings in the ring are something better.
And that's why you could that's why they moved the world title match between Jungle Boy and Omega when in the live edition of Dynamite, not the taped edition. They knew what was going to happen. That's why they moved it to the live edition of Dynamite. That's going to be the end of the month.
A good decision. A good decision.
But
This crowd was fucking nothing.
So I think that's your opinion on these Friday night Dynamites, I think. But overall, what did you think about this week's post pay-per-view show?
Like I said, this show was, not fucking good or nothing to par, as we have seen in the past. This show, I don't know, man. It had fucking nothing. Seriously. Uh, to even look forward to it, I don't know. This shows seriously. It had nothing. It had nothing. Seriously, I cannot say anything more. If I say more, it would take me fucking way down. This was such an atrocious show.
So let's run through what we had. So we had Young Bucks versus PENTA, Zero M, and who's the other guy? Pac. So we also had another tag match with Christian Cage and Jungle Boy facing the Pride Party. Cody Rhodes and Lee
Hmm.
Johnson had a match against QT Marshall and Anthony Ogogo.
Hmm.
Speaking about women's action, we had Bunny versus Red Velvet. Britt Baker had a championship celebration. We also had a similar celebration with the Inner Circle. And the main event was Dustin Rhodes versus Nick Commoroto in a bull rope match. But before that, if you are new to Slamhub Wrestling, then make sure to like, share, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Check out our Double or Nothing review, our NXT review, the main roster talk. Everything you will need will be in the description below. So let's start from the top, man. So they kicked off with the Young Bucks. So they were facing Penta, L0M, and Pac. So they said that Ray
Hmm.
Phoenix was attacked backstage, but there is actually reason to that because in reality he is reportedly having a groin injury. I'm talking about Ray Phoenix. So the
Hmm.
matchup, I think the Young Bucks faced Phoenix and Pac last month, if I'm not wrong.
Probably.
It was for the tag
I cannot
titles.
attest to that.
It was for the
Hmm.
tag titles, and that match was
Hmm.
really, you could say, a great match. But so
Hmm.
yeah, the opening match here was really good. You could say a lot of action, high paced, some certain the you could say your typical heel tactics with the Young Bucks. So we had before the match even began, we had a little chaos of situation. You could say we had Frankie Kazarian attacking the Good Brothers and Carl Anderson, and also attacking Nakazawa's. So after all this chaos was done, then the match went underway. So we had Young Bucks, like I said, to their typical heel tactics. Also had, uh, they wanted to rip off Pentagon's mask, but Pentagon, being the smart guy here, he had him second mask under the original mask. So we saw some great spots here with and some great near falls, but at the end it was Young Bucks who stole the victory here, you could say. They also there was also a point where we thought, yeah, Pac and Penta are going to get the win here, pin the tag champs, but thanks to Brandon Cutler, that was not able to happen. What do you think about this match and this whole situation?
Mm, you know, I have a very different opinion with regards to this match. Uh, this match, to me, uh, it never looked to me that it was in the flow. You know, if or there was a comfort between the two teams. If there are two teams, they are wrestling or performing, whatever you want to call the certain art which is happening. you know to me it didn't look like the two teams were in a flow or they were in a sense of comfort. It looked awkward many a times to me. I don't know, maybe it was just another match to be thrown out, so because we have to have a match with the tag team champions, and we got to have a draw on the show. So we have to book the Young Bucks, and we got to have a banger, so to speak. But to me, it didn't translate to me as such. And it was also said, I guess from one of the commentators, that it was the first time that Pac and Pentagon Junior were tagging. It was the first time in this match. Someone from the commentary table, probably Excalibur, said that. So it could also be possibly one of the reasons as to why there was awkwardness in the offense that was happening. And as you have said, that there was an interference from Kazarian at the start of the bout. So there is something brewing there, which has been there from the past. That it was the Young Bucks who were the reason that Kazarian and Daniels are no longer a tag team. And yes, it was a great match, absolutely. And possibly, with the interactions which we saw at the start of the bout, it could happen that probably they could book uh, the Good Brothers versus Kazarian and Daniels, but right now Kazarian and Daniels are not a tag team as per the aforementioned stipulation. But we could see possibly that Kazarian and Daniels versus the Good Brothers or possibly the Young Bucks can happen in the future. But first, there could be a match Kazarian and Kingston. Kingston, they can tag among themselves because Moxley is out, as we uh, you know discussed in our last review. So Kazarian and Kingston could tag against uh, against the Good Brothers first, and then they could go against the Young Bucks, and something could possibly happen which manifests into Daniels and Kazarian having a discussion, and then coming back together for probably one last dance, so to speak. So there is a lot of possibility that what can happen with regards to this whole situation. But with regards to this match, to me it was an awkward, but yes, of course, a decent bout. To me it wasn't you know a worthy or very good match. To me it wasn't, absolutely not.
So post match, we had a beat down. The heels were had a beat down on the baby faces, Penta and Pac here, but here comes Eddie Kingston for the save, and I think we have a somewhat of a situation for next week in a 6-man. I think.
Mm. Yes, yes. I guess it's a Bucks and Cutler versus the Pack and Pentagon and
Kingston.
Kingston. Hmm.
So they also talked about Kingston and the Death Triangle, the story they had a couple of months ago
Hmm.
before Kingston turned you could quote unquote babyface.
Yes, but yes, the possibility is highly unlikely. But yes, absolutely, Excalibur brought it up, so it's good nonetheless. We have to see if something like that, you know, the tensions could, yes, rise up in the said match. Yes, Kingston was the one who was drawing a wedge between Pentagon and Ray Phoenix, and he wanted this death triangle of sort, this faction to be, completely decimated. Pac was not there. Yes, he was, in the lockdown restrictions. He was in the uh, United Kingdom. So, Kingston was the one who was, siding with Pentagon, and he was saying that you are so much better and stuff like that. So, if there are still tensions, we can see something happen, and the Young Bucks and Cutler can win. But, you know, let's see. Let's see what happens next week.
Mm, let's move on to the big thing that you could say happened on Dynamite. So they had
Mm-hmm.
Shivani doing your usual interview. So he was about to interview Mark Henry, the new analyst for Rampage. So Mark Henry said that he's happy to be here. He loves this business. So Shivani just threw in this casual question of, "Are you here to wrestle?" I thought I was thinking at this point, yeah, this was just a casual question, but here we have JR saying he has lost a lot of weight. Then my mind started to turn. Yes, there is a possibility that Mark Henry could wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
What you think?
Mm-hmm. With regards to Mark Henry or even Big Show, there is that possibility, of course, because if they want a feud or something like that, even if it is a one-off, they can absolutely go. absolutely they can go. If there is a situation, if they want them to compete, either Mark Henry or Paul White, so absolutely they can perform. There is no doubt about that. They are in great shape, they can perform. So they won't think twice before you know thinking of them competing in the ring. If they want to hype a certain individual with them, putting them over, or even just, you can say, introduce to the crowd, or draw a rating or some sort, or there is a faction versus faction match, anything, there should be absolutely a need, a demand for that. So absolutely they can go for it.
And he also mentioned in his promo that he still has a lot
Mm.
left in his tank. Only difference was
Yeah.
only difference was he was not wearing a pink suit tonight.
Yes, but he was wearing a pink shirt
Ah,
inside. Yes, so that was an homage to that moment.
so yeah, the interior stuff was going on, but here comes Vicky Guerrero. Typical excuse. She comes out with her typical "excuse me" shtick, and
Yes.
she came into the ring, said that she has someone, a new client, you could say. And in her typical annoying fashion, she introduces Andrade El Idolo, and we have the commentators,
Hmm.
building this up. Did she say Andrade? And we saw Excalibur. You could say, trying to show the shock factor. Yes, it is Andrade, and he started to list off his accomplishments, except the accomplishments in WWE. He's talking about his CMLL days, his New Japan days. So Andrade got on the mic, said he used to be the face of Latinos. Now he is here to be the face of AEW. So there you go. Andrade is all elite. What you think about this big signing, man?
um, i'm I'm absolutely happy for Andrade, and it is a great signing, absolutely. I do not know with regards to that, what is the terms with regards to his, overall contract and stuff like that. I read somewhere that, talks were happening as soon as he was released, between Tony Khan and him. There was something involved with regards to creative control or something like that. But he wanted to work with other promotions as well. So let's see. Possibly he would be working with Lucha Libre, AAA, and AEW, of course. And let's say, yes, he is a great talent without a shadow of a doubt. We have seen him compete in AEW, beg your pardon, WWE, and of course in other promotions as well in the past, New Japan Pro Wrestling as well. So it is a great signing, absolutely. And with AEW coming with the second show, absolutely they need a roster. They need a person who can compete and who is great in his own right. So absolutely, Andrade is a great signing nonetheless. And Andrade being here, it also gives Tony Khan, or you can say AW, or even the competitors, Andrade and even Charlotte Flair, leverage of some sorts, that Charlotte, if she is unhappy in WWE, she could possibly jump ship to AW if she wants.
I think she's happy killing the Raw Women's division as of now.
But there can come a time, absolutely, when she's of the mindset that I have done enough and there is nothing for me to do anymore here. So I want to explore my options. I want to explore other things, and I want to build a legacy, just like his father, Ric Flair.
Hmm.
He was in the NWA, he was in WCW, yes, he was in TNA, he was in WWE. So, why not, Charlotte Flair, takes that, route, and she comes to AEW. She, takes, the world by storm. She competes everywhere. She competes in Lucha Libre Praya. She competes in AEW. She competes in New Japan. Why not? If she wants to, she can, and she will become a worldwide. She is right now. She is a worldwide entity, and she would, become the best, women's wrestler in the world. Absolutely, she can if she wants to.
And the pairing with Vicky Guerrero is slightly something different. She is a Guerrero. She,
Hmm.
that's a, you could say, what's the term I'm looking for?
Uh, it is, you can say it is different, and it is also an, you can say it is an homage also to the fact that many people, were, thinking, or you can say they were of the opinion that, even Vince McMahon was, or he didn't see, but the people were, thinking that Andrade could have been the, next Eddie Guerrero or some sort for WWE, for the, pro wrestling world. But the fact that he wasn't given a chance to do that, but right now he is in, the promotion AEW. So now he has the world as his oyster, so he can do that, and he wants to, because, as he said that I'm, representing the Latinos community, and, he wants to do that. He wants to be the best. So, he has that mindset. So, there you go. He wants to, be the best of all time. So, you know,
And by the
let's
way,
see what happens.
speaking about Vicky Guerrero, before we move on, what do you consider her? Her being a heel? Is she a great, heel, to get great heat, or is she a type of
Hmm.
heel that gets go away hit?
Uh, she, uh, we have seen in the past, in WWE, I would say that yes, she gets go away hit, but the fact is that, such heels we do not see very often, you know. But the fact is that with Andrade, she won't be, getting so much of the heat, because, the fan base, of course, they love Andrade because of the fact that he's talented so much. But the fact is that yes, he is being, portrayed as a heel. So let's see that, what happens with regards to him. That, is Vicky Guerrero able to get heat on him? The fact is that yes, he is, portraying himself, and he probably is also, uh, you know a rich, a rich entity, a rich guy, and he is flaunting himself as one, and he is with, a flair and something. So, you know he's basically, uh, pushing it to your fucking face. There's that, and that is up to you, that how you take it. That, there would, uh, certainly can come a time that when you are hating that fact, that he is so much, being braggadocious, so to speak. So it can come a time, but the fact is that, till the time that he is able to draw, and he is able to, perform to the highest level, then, there won't be any problem.
And I think there was a possibility to bring in Tia Trinidad as her as his manager. Small possibility.
Hmm. Yes. Probably things, haven't, manifested with regards to her, and, probably, there was some, report that she might be, interested in going back to WWE. Probably you could say that the deal she was getting with regards to probably money or something like that, that wasn't to her, liking. So that's why she is, open, or to returning to WWE, or possibly she has gotten in her head that the cause she was pushing for, that was unionization, other people are not as open to that. So she is going back. She has gotten to her head. She has gotten back, to quote unquote sanity. That people aren't as pushing for unionization, and it was just one of thing with regards to the people, and WWE is a thing that unionization is not possible. you know there are many things to be considered.
But let's move on. So we had uh, Anthony Ogogo and QT Marshall. So they faced Cody Rhodes and Lee Johnson. So still they are trying to continue this feud in some way or some fashion. And this time, the heel team, the factory, you could say, finally got the win here. I think it was QT Marshall who got the pin. He actually pinned Cody Rhodes here. So, what you think about this situation here? Because we thought for the pay-per-view they were going to put over Mr. Ogogo.
um, I thought that you know it was what it was. It was a decent match nonetheless, and the fact that uh, the other people also got involved, and yes, finally you know they got the victory. The factory got the victory nonetheless, and yes, it is good for them. And I in the review, of course, of the pay-per-view, I said that if it were any other day rather than the Memorial Day, Cody wouldn't have taken the victory in the first shot. And you know and if it were of the mindset that it was to build up Anthony Ogogo and the factory and stuff like that, it would have been first of all to get Anthony Ogogo and build him up, and then to cap off the feud, then uh, Cody Rhodes would have gotten the victory. But you know there is something other mindset would have taken into play with regards to all the competitors. Let's see where this is going. The gun club is also involved in this. Other people are also involved in this, and in the main event also there was a lot of things happening. Let's see. The fact is that if you want us invested in any sort of feud or shit, you know give us the, you can say, backstory, or keep up with us, keep us invested, that how it came about, how we have come to this point, and how it is happening. Some promos from Cody or something like that, which are meaningful, so that we are invested in this. Or else it is just back and forth between two groups, just like it happened later on the show with a certain group.
But basically, here they wanted to somewhat give the factory members some credibility with the win. And they had QT pinning
Yes.
Cody, not Anthony. Because if
Hmm.
Anthony would have pinned Cody, then the pay-per-view match was useless.
Hmm. Yes. QT getting the win. Yes, overall, it is good for the faction. Yes, you know. Uh, Also, it is the thing that it is also saving the pinfall from, you can say, Anthony Ogogo, that he shouldn't get a pinfall over these guys, that his feud with Cody, his thing is done. Now QT can get with Cody, because his stuff was the thing which started it all. QT formed the factory because of his shit, that he was insecure, he was not getting the recognition from Cody and the Nightmare family, that he was coaching the kids, but he was not getting TV time and stuff like that. That is what gave us the factory versus the Nightmare family. So the main problem, or the main crux, that is QT versus Cody Rhodes, that should be addressed, and that should be you know you can say that should be solved. That would end this feud between the two groups.
Yeah, man. I think I don't know what else they're gonna stretch with this whole feud. Maybe some what do you call it? The just your casual matchups with the both the factions. That's it.
Hmm.
Other than that, there is really not major.
No, but I don't think so. Yes, you are saying it absolutely to the T, so to speak. Yes, the thing is that the main purpose of we have also discussed that in the past. The main purpose of booking these guys in groups or factions is to get as much of the guys on television as possible. That is why we are also seeing Pinnacle versus Inner Circle. So that is what we can get, as many guys on television as possible. Because if we start booking single feuds, tag team feuds, then it would make it shallow. you know the more guys would be sitting at quote unquote catering. But if we get as many of the guys on television, then we can book them in groups. So at least they are some on television, and people are invested in them somewhat. But yes, to get us in a meaningful way, some promos here and there, and something creative, so that or you can throw in some elements of real life also, so that we get invested. Or else it is just shitty television, or else it is just you are doing it for the sake of it,
But
and you are just happy with the audience that you have.
let's see, man, what else they can do with this faction versus faction feud we got. But let's move on with the world title situation. We heard from Kenny Omega and Don Callis, and we also heard from the best friends and Orange Cassidy. They claim that Orange Cassidy was stolen from a world title win. You know what happened at the pay-per-view. We talked about it in the review. And from the side of so who's it? Callis and Omega, they are,
Omega.
yeah, they
Hmm.
are saying that there is a certain conspiracy regarding how Kenny Omega and the World Championship is being handled, and they also mocked his upcoming challenger Jungle Boy. Omega was singing his theme song, which was hilarious. So, and speaking about Orange Cassidy, they have kind of opened that door as well for yet another rematch, and they even mentioned it on TV here.
Hmm. uh, but it is, we can say, a very peculiar situation of some sorts, because if they book a singles match between Kenny Omega and Orange Cassidy, if they do, who would be going down? Because the fact is that Orange Cassidy has become such a huge attraction for AEW. So how will they book him for a loss? uh, if there would be some shenanigans involved, then only it can possibly happen, or else I do not see that how will they book the said match. They cannot give, in my opinion, the championship to Orange Cassidy. I do not see that happening this soon, because I see that Kenny Omega would be having a lengthy title run. So how will they book the said match if they are thinking of that? I do not know, and let's see. And with regards to the conspiracy of some sort, let's see that what you know their promo or their video package they come about with. Let's see. Uh, Other than that, with regards to Jungle Boy, we know that it is booked for, as you said, the live edition on Saturday. You know, so looking forward to it, and we also, uh, you know, predicted it, or it is obvious that Jungle Boy would not be taking the championship from Kenny Omega, but yes, it would be a great match, absolutely, and let's see that how it becomes a catalyst for something in the future down the run. Possibly people are saying that Hangman Page would be the one to dethrone Kenny Omega. Let's see how it comes about. And being Andrade also being on the roster, uh, I would want some hype for the Triple Mania match that both of the guys have for the Triple A Mega Championship. So if there are some interactions on Dynamite, it yes, I know that it is not AW's territory, but the fact is that if there are some interactions, even you could have it backstage, it can make for good interesting television. So they can you know get to that if they
Similar to
want.
similar to how they did Moxley and Kenta.
Hmm. Yes.
Like just basically promote the match.
Hmm. Promote the match, and they can have some promos or whatever they want to do, interactions back and forth, or so, whatever. Let's see. Let's see.
So you mentioned Hangman Page. So this was brought up by Team Taz this week. Taz did his usual promo. He said, Page. Page got lucky at the paper. Sorry, Hangman Page. I'm speaking about. Got lucky and was able to beat Brian Cage. So they issued another challenge for Hangman Page to find a tag team partner, one of his buddies from the Dark Order, to face Hobbs and Brian Cage for next
Brian
week, I believe.
Cage.
So the
Hmm.
member is going to be none other than 10 of the Dark Order. So we have this tag match
Hmm.
happening next week.
Hmm. That's great. They are stretching this feud uh, to the point that these guys are also you know getting screen time, and of course till the time, as we said, that Ricky Starks is cleared, so that we can have finally the confrontation between Brian Cage and Ricky Starks, which would be the you can say the end goal of this whole story. So
And usually,
yes.
if Team Tal loses, it really hurts them. But In next week, when they mostly lose, it's going to add more fuel to the fire between the turmoil between Cage and the entire faction.
Yes, absolutely.
But let's move on. We had Christian Cage and Jungle Boy against Private Party. So this came about after all four of these individuals had a little interaction at the battle royal at the pay-per-view. Jungle Boy and Christian actually threw out both members of the Private Party at the battle royal. So we also had in this match Matt Hardy accompanied Private Party because his Private Party are part of the HFO faction. So so we had Private Party actually are wearing street clothes now and ditched the former glow pants and all that bling type of outfit. What do you think about it?
Mm, I have no issues with regards to that. It is, you can say, more to their gimmick, so to speak. Yes, it is a party gimmick, and with Matt Hardy, or Big Money Matt being in their corner, you can see that he is giving them money, or he is earning them money, so they can wear better stuff. So that goes with the said gimmick. So no problem with that. It goes with the character, and this shit should be emphasized from the commentators also, so that it translates to the audience.
And by the way, did you see Isaiah Cassidy wearing two watches?
No, no, I didn't.
And by the on that note, the Pride Party are really doing great job as heels. I think it is somewhat mirroring what the Bucks are doing.
Hmm. Yes,
And you got
and yes,
you were saying.
I was just, emphasizing on the fact that, they, during the match, they sold their opponent's offense really well. They sold it like, fucking anything. So Private Party, did their job with regards to putting, Jungle Boy and Christian Cage over huge as, baby faces and great entities, so that yes, Jungle Boy is about to face Kenny Omega for the world championship, so he should look like a star, and he should look like, as an unstoppable guy, and he is about to face the world champion. So yes, absolutely, they sold their offense really well. So full marks to Private Party, absolutely.
So finally, they are breaking out as at a character standpoint. They are finally breaking out.
Yes, yes.
So we had them, doing some great heel tactics. They also, mocked Edge and Christian's, 5-second pose throughout the match. So at the end, we would see the babyface team getting the victory here. I don't know who it was. Yes, Jungle Boy actually
Yes,
made Mark Quinn
submitted.
tap out. Yes, to the what's the submission name?
Snare trap.
Yeah, that's how the babyface team won here. So after the both Christian and Jungle Boy celebrated, post match we had Hardy coming back just to attack Christian Cage on the ramp, Christopher Fate on the ramp. So I think they are building towards a short program between these two men, which could be interesting. There is history, so you could do a lot with that alone. What you think?
Hmm. Yes, absolutely. And it could, if they build that up, and there are promos back and forth, and there is interaction, and the other people who are also involved, the ancillary people, uh, so that could also be good as well. That they are also getting screen time absolutely. And Matt Hardy and Christian, they also can be, they are, draws and legends of their own, so that they could also, get fans to tune in. So uh, you know good decision.
Um, Moving on, we had a small promo from the TNT champion Miro. He gave a little shout out to his wife, saying how hot she is, etc., etc., and also talked about the competition in AEW, that nobody is going to stop him. And from that, we also heard from John Silver that he was actually gifted a TNT title shot, but he cannot compete due to injury. So that's why he's giving that opportunity to Evil Uno instead. So next week we got a little TNT title shot and TNT match here between Miro and Uno. And I saw someone mentioning that even though we got loopholes with the how they booked the TNT title match, Evil Uno actually he doesn't have a big singles win in his AEW career, and now he's
Hmm.
getting a title shot. What do you think about that?
uh I can also agree with that statement, but the I could possibly say that the reason for booking Miro versus Uno was the pop that Uno caught at Double or Nothing is the only reason that he's getting this match. There is nothing else. You know that it got to the booker that yes, he is over with the crowd, so we can book him in a TNT match. Yes, of course, Miro would be winning absolutely, but yes, the guy is hard working, he's talented, and he got a good reaction from the crowd. So why not book him in a TNT match, TNT title match?
And by the way, I mentioned, I also talked about it in the main roster talk this week about the possibility of Miro being joined by her wife, CJ Lana. So could
Hmm.
we see that pairing, and do we need it actually in AEW?
Hmm. No, it would be interesting, and it also you know gives you a certain perspective. It gives you a look, that there is a guy and there is a woman besides him, and yes, it is real life. They are husband and wife. So yes, it is legitimate and stuff like that. So yes, of course, and also the fans, they see a pardon that what I am about to say, but the fact is that yes, it is legit. The fact is they see a hot woman, they get invested, and they see the product. You know, more fans tune in. There is no doubts about that. I am not saying anything which is which is wrong. I am saying as it is. You know, even the women talents, if you go around the world in various promotions, the you know women who are portrayed or who are featured on your TV screens, they look good, and they wear the stuff which looks good, you know in order to entice the viewers. They get invested in them, and they watch the show every week to get the ratings. In the Attitude Era, there were many, Sunny, Sable, and other, and it has been in the past. If the looking good wasn't an you can say criteria of some sort, then the women or even the men. I'm also saying the vice versa is also there. The men are looking good and stuff like that for the women, and even the men. It goes both ways. to look good and get invested in them so that they watch the show irrespective. It is not only the talent for which the people watch, it is also the people who look good, they get invested in them and they watch for them. They become fans of that, or they get enticed, so they watch for that as well. So bringing in Lana, if that gets the viewers for them, that comes up in the minds of the booker, so they would get Lana in, irrespective of the fact that Miro is great on the mic. That is established from the past few weeks. We have seen that Miro is great on the microphone. In this week's promo also, he killed it absolutely. In the previous weeks, he has killed Lance Archer on the mic. There is no question about that. But the fact, Miro does not need Lana. But yes, if that makes the whole package a great thing to watch and it gets the fans invested, so why not get CJ or Lana in
Let's see,
to
man. Let's see.
AEW?
Let's see.
Yes.
But moving on, we had Bunny versus Red Velvet. So they kind of told a story of how this happened. I think there was something going on in this week's Dark Elevation. Can you describe what happened?
Uh, Probably it was dark or dark elevation, as you said. Ali, Ali, or I should say the bunny, I'm very sorry. She clogged Big Soul with the brass knuckles or the brass duster. So Red Velvet was featured on Dynamite this week, challenging the money to bout, getting revenge for her friend who were also on ringside. More screen time for more talents. So there's that.
And getting to the result, so who is it? Red Velvet would beat the Bunny here. So there was one scary spot in the match where she was going for a tope and she almost broke her neck. And
Yes.
so, like I said, Red Velvet got the win. Obvious choice because they are trying to build her up as a next big star. They did it with Attack Conti. They are secretly, doing it with, I think, Leila Hirsch. So Red Velvet is also in that same group.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm.
And
She is the part of Nightmare family, if I'm not wrong.
exactly, you could
Red
say.
Velvet.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's see.
And so speaking about this women's division, it's slowly coming about. We have Britt Baker, taking the lead here, ruling this entire women's division. And we also got the other
Mm.
new stars coming up. But speak on that topic. So news came that they released two talents. So I
Mm.
don't know if you have
Mm-hmm.
heard about it, but Awesome Kong and Shanna are not no longer on contract with AEW.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Uh, I had read about that. Awesome Kong hasn't been featured anytime. She has been, out of action for, I don't know how many, months or probably a year, if I'm not wrong. Shanna was good, in my opinion. Shanna was good. She was great. I do not probably know what was the reason of letting her go, but you know, uh, wishing her the best, and also to Awesome Kong too. The fact is that they they were thinking probably of booking Awesome Kong with someone. I do not know who. The first instance was I guess they booked her with Brandy Rhodes, the Nightmare
Nightmare
Collective,
Collective.
and then yes, and they also got someone else. She was also, of the same stature. I do not remember her name. Was she also a part of the collective, or was she on the other side? I do not
She
remember
was
now.
part of the collective, and I think she has also quietly been released.
All right, but that they didn't go about with the plan, because probably it didn't resonate with the fans, or they just dropped it
That
out of the
was
blue.
that was one of the first
Mm.
storylines that actually got bombed in AEW.
Yes, yes. So I do not know. Awesome Kong was, I can recall with regards to what I have heard and what I have seen, that she was great in TNA. Other than that, I have not, seen, great stuff with regards to her. In WWE also, she had a very short run, in my opinion. And here also, a very, minuscule, appearance. They could have, come up with something better for her. She could have, gotten, locked horns with the likes of Nyla Rose, and even other people as well, who are, lesser in stature, because that could have gotten over at the end when the feud finally ends, at some shape or form, and then the babyface, gets over with the crowd huge. They could have done that, but uh, you know right now, even with the likes of, Nyla Rose, so what has Nyla Rose done besides, the first instance when we saw her? Right now, we have not seen her, perform on Dynamite, or even, in a legitimate story or something like that. Yes, I agree that TV time is a, constraint, but the fact is that we have not seen her invested in something, good after what, her title reign or something like that. So, come up with something, better with regards to the performers. Uh, you know,
Technically, Awesome Kong was past her prime, you could say, as a in-ring talent.
mm, oh, no, I cannot comment on that. I do not know that how good she was right now, and so I cannot comment on that.
But you could say that she was, I think, not the same Awesome Kong we used to see in TNA.
Hmm. Possibly, possibly.
But yeah, man, you briefly mentioned Nyla Rose here, so we'll talk about her in the next segment. So it was the championship celebration for Britt Baker, Doctor Britt Baker, DMD. So we had the, you could say, low end heel wrestlers surrounding the ring. We had Tony Schiavone there. So here comes the Doctor and Reba. So Baker was saying that how well of a reaction she was getting at the pay-per-view, and she also was about to, gift the audience members some, she said, coupon for some burgers, but it was actually a ruse. Said that when she started in the company, no one was supporting her, and all of a sudden, everyone, jumped the bandwagon, you could say. So they were about to celebrate with these burgers they had. So Reba had one burger, she had one burger, and also gave Shivani a cheeseburger. So they were about to toast or do something. But here comes Nyla Rose to be the party pooper, you could say. She throws the burger all over the place and just leaves. And we also had Vicky Guerrero in there. So you could say they are still a thing. Vicky is still managing Nyla Rose, so they could do this potential short program with Nyla getting the first title shot, and it actually makes sense. They didn't mention it on commentary that Baker actually lost to Nyla Rose during that women's tournament they did before Revolution,
Mm-hmm.
which makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Uh, you were saying that if it happened, then it makes sense. Absolutely, it does. They can do the program, with Nyla Rose, absolutely, and possibly it is the plan now going forward. And Vicky Guerrero would be on television, with Andrade and with Nyla Rose, and now her being her group, so to speak, would also have a presence on television. So it's good. It's good.
Yeah, but from that we had another celebration. I actually forgot it. It's with regarding the inner circle. They actually called it the inner circle post win lap or something like that.
Mm.
So we had Jericho talking about the recent history between this Pinnacle and the inner circle, and the main topic was that the feud is not done, and Jericho is still has problem with what happened at Blood and Guts, where he was almost he didn't where MJF where he claims that MJF not only tried to end his career, but mostly was looking to end his life. So Jericho still has some grudge regarding that situation. So he said the thing is not over. So they also kind of individually talked about the faction members they wanted to face in particular matches. Like for example, FTR and Proud and Powerful thing that's going to happen. And we had Jake Hager. He said that he challenged Wardlow in an MMA cage fight of some kind of deal because he's an MMA fighter and he's undefeated. So I don't know how they are going to do that. And obviously Jericho wants another match with MJF. So yeah, the feud is still on.
Yes, we had predicted that, in the past reviews that after this stadium stampede happens, this, group, gang war, this happens finally, then they would be going with the individual feud, so to speak. But the sad thing is that that this feud is now looking stretched out so much that it is not getting us invested at all. The fact is that yes, the inner circle won the match, the stadium stampede, so it gives to us that it is enough, and inner circle finally won and it is done and dusted. Why the fuck inner circle is asking for a match when they have gotten the victory? Why? Does it make sense to you?
As a viewer, it doesn't, but in storyline, they
Hmm.
want to make it, seem logical because Jericho wants to
Uh-huh.
end MJF now.
Hmm. Why this promo also, it seemed lazy as fuck to me. If you go to the previous weeks, the promos that were happening, what was different with regards to this promo? Nothing. Even the presentation, nothing different. It looked lazy as fuck, nothing to get us invested at all. Hager and Wardlow in 2 weeks in a MMA cage fight was just thrown in this promo. It was not even, given such importance. Nothing was given such importance. Just, a vomit of words was happening. Nothing else. you know, still continuing with the, feud. And, you know, hopefully they make this, feud between the factions interesting, because the fact is right now it is not, you know, looking interesting, or it is, as I've said, that it is looking stretched out, and it is looking like, fucking just stop this. Enough is enough. But the fact is that yes, there is, potential for individual feuds to go on. And yes, the same thing which I just said with regards to the factory versus the family, that they have to get as many people as, on television. So they are booking this faction versus faction match, this faction versus faction feud. So they are doing this. And this feud, you know, recently has been, you can say, a showcase of the inner circle. You know, Pinnacle have not been booked. I have said in one of the past reviews as well. They have been booked like fucking jobbers. Seriously. You know, you saw the Stadium Stampede match. You saw it. You know, did you see them at some point at an advantage? Just say it this, right now. Did you see it? Can you recall at one time they were at a considerable advantage? Did they look at one time at an advantage that yes, they are a fucking threat, they are a, and a force that should not be messed with at any point in the Stadium Stampede match?
Mostly no.
No, no. What the fuck is this? With regards to the Pinnacle, are they fucking jobbers? Are they just still there? Faction versus faction, they are just there to get TV time for the sake of, getting the inner circle over. Is this just NWO shit? What is this? What the fuck is happening? They were, you know, I can say that yes, Pinnacle were seen at a, advantageous or an up position, so to speak, at the go home show, in the close of, the Dynamite, show, at the, go home show. But, at this point, does anyone care even a slight fuck about the Pinnacle right now? Does anyone care? Does anyone care? They were not on this week's show, if I can recall. Did anyone care? Did anyone care? Did anyone care when the Jaguars coach, tweeted out that backstage photo, where all of the people were, at, in a single frame, inner circle and the Pinnacle, breaking kayfabe, so to speak, which is a huge no-no in case of course, professional wrestling, but also with regards to how protective MJF has been in the recent past in his career with regards to kayfabe. Did anyone give a flying fuck? Absolutely not. And even with regards to the Pinnacle's promos also, they haven't been as effective. The last promo which I can recall was they were sitting and in a table at a restaurant, which I can recall. That it wasn't as effective. If it is being done, forcefully, so that their presentation is such that it is not effective to the crowd, that it is not getting us invested, so that we do not care about the Pinnacle, and they are not getting one up on the inner circle, that only the inner circle is great at everything, great at beating them up, great in promos, great at everything, and over with the crowd every fucking time. And Pinnacle is fucking nothing even when they are giving the microphone. So, what is, there is the presentation at fault? with regards to the Pinnacle, or it is just the mindset is with regards to this promo that you have to get the Inner Circle over. It was the first faction, and get the Inner Circle over, get Chris Jericho over, get his egotistical mind over, get Sammy Guevara over. That's the only thing that is right now the main focus. Pinnacle, if they are fucking buried, nothing. We do not give a flying fuck about that.
Now the only saving graces have this Pinnacle members at least win this singles encounters in this you could last stage of this feud.
Yes, but the fact is that if they will you can say end this feud between the two factions at some point, which they will, of course. How can they end with the heels winning? They cannot. They would end with the baby faces winning, and with the words that Chris Jericho and these people are using, that I want them to be fucking over. I want them to be this, or I do not want them to be on this show. So I do not know that where this is going or what it is implying. Probably this faction would be a part of Rampage, or many of the guys of this roster are going away from this company. I do not know how will they book this shit.
We'll have to wait and see, man. At least
Yes.
get the stuff right this time around. It's too
Absolutely.
late, but
And
you need to do
yes,
some, you could say cover up the cracks we have.
yes,
But shall we get to the main event part?
yes.
So it was Dustin Rhodes versus Nick Commoroto. This was a Texas bull rope match, you could say. So
No, this was not Texas bull rope. This was only bull rope. This was only bull rope match. They also said that there is a difference between the two. That Texas bull rope match has this stipulation also that you have to touch the four
corners.
Yes, and the normal bull rope match doesn't have that stipulation. It has pinfall or submission.
So
They told it at the start of the bout.
So this is ongoing. This is what that came about with the ongoing faction war between the Nightmare family and the factory. So I think this, if you want to compare Ogogo versus Cody, this was actually somewhat of a good, building up the whole program, you could say. They didn't have the time, but they did what they could have done in that short amount of time.
Yes, I could agree with that. Yes, they did what they had to do, as you said. The factory and the Nightmare family, have been at each other's throats, absolutely, and that is how we have gotten to this match. They were, teasing, so to speak, with regards to this match being a bull rope match. You have also said that in the past reviews as well, that we could possibly see a bull rope match, and they were teasing it as well, and we got this match this week. And the main reason was how this group came about was QT's insecurity with regards to what was happening to him, and how people like Shorty Lee were getting a shot, and he got his first victory on Dynamite. There's that.
And so the commentators also brought up how Dustin Rhodes is actually a veteran in this stipulation and how he is undefeated.
Yes.
So match was just there, you could say. We didn't see much of Nick Commoroto. That was mind blowing, or a breaking, star making performance, nothing like that. So Dustin Rhodes would get the win here, and that basically ends that story. So you could compare this with the Anthony Ogogo situation, that they are not ready to put over these guys just because they are not right there yet. Did I sound right?
Possibly.
Yeah, so same situation here. And there was one instance in this match. So when both wrestlers were fighting in the crowd section, where the dark wrestlers sit. So one of the wrestlers, he was Fuege del Sol. What's his name? Did I get that? Yes,
Yes.
Fuege del Sol.
Yes.
He actually jumped on Nick Kamara to try to take him down, but he gets launched into the rest of the wrestlers. So there's actually some story to that, and which I didn't expect it to come on TV. So this guy, Fuego del Sol, is actually dark wrestler that has been throughout. He has been wrestling on dark throughout the pandemic era. He's yet to win a match, but his story is that his star power is all credit goes to Sammy Guevara, because this guy has been featured on his vlogs, and Sammy Guevara has actually helped a lot to make this guy some get this guy some credibility, and making a bit over into the that small fan audience he has with this vlog and stuff. And it's pretty much getting over in that small majority of fans that he has. So I actually didn't expect this to come on TV. And there is a story going on in his vlog that he is Dustin Rhodes is his mentor, his father figure. So yeah, that's the whole background
Mm-hmm.
I could give regarding this situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that is the reason why he came to the aid of
You could say
him.
that.
You said. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, is there a chance of him, you know, being on TV? Let's see in the future, of course, if he is, you know, with the Nightmare family or with, Dustin Rhodes specifically. Let's see. Of course, if he is, being featured and the fans get invested in him, absolutely, it would be great, for him. And also, we would be seeing a luchador on, Dynamite. That is also great in its own right as well. And with regards to the match, as you said, you know it was, yes, it was competitive. Commoroto got busted open at one point, and it was, like you said, it was just there. It was a decent match, so to speak. And I have this theory or some sort that I guess it hurt that there was an commercial break in between this main event match. Probably that hurt a lot with regards to the overall flow of this match. Probably if there weren't a commercial break, probably that would have helped the overall flow of this match. Nonetheless, you know, this match was, fine, but it was 1-1 for the said night between the factory and the Nightmare family, of course. And we have to, see with regards to how this, comes about in the, future, that what happens if, this feud with regards to Anthony Ogogo and, Cody, that is, a separate, thing of its own. And, Dustin feuding with Nick Commoroto, that happens on its own. Or it is, of course, a single thing of its own, but how it is featured on television, that we have to see, of course.
It's going to
And
be
yes,
similar to what they are doing with Inner Circle and Pinnacle, just like you said.
possibly, but of course, get us invested in the story, and the points which you made with regards to Fuego del Sol, that should also be, expressed and given to us on commentary, or on television, of course. If you are willing to invest in Fuego del Sol, and he is being featured in the coming weeks on Dynamite, and it would also help you getting viewers on Dark Elevation, of course, where he is featured.
There is a
Absolutely.
there is
So
another element that I forgot to, speaking about the backstory of Fuego del Sol. He was actually, before 2021, he was actually in a small feud with QT Marshall. I think I mentioned you in some form of fashion in these reviews, that the two were actually feuding in Dark, and they actually built that story in Sammy Guevara's vlog, which is the premises of this Fuego del Sol actually got over in that small audience. So they actually feuded months before 2021. The story was that this guy doesn't get wins, and and there was also not the main thing was not him getting the win, but there was also the main thing that he was not able to hit his finisher, the Tornado DDT, which was,
Tornado DDT.
yeah. So that was a story, you could say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They could do that
And
if they
I
manage to bring
hmm,
all those story in if you want to present this in a Dynamite or in a TV.
hmm. Now, how you have explained with regards to this, whole, thing with regards to Fuego del Sol. I find it interesting. If this is, expressed on, television, then it would be, great, you know, and, he also, comes about, with the Nightmare family, or, specifically with Dustin Rhodes. So that would be great, and it also would get, uh, you know, us invested, you know, in, yes, of course, Fuego del Sol, of course, and with regards to this whole, feud, because that also adds to the element of this feud with the Factory versus Nightmare family. So, all of these things, it all comes about. So, express that, but, I am not about just hit my mind, but if there is creative differences between the EVPs, so I do not know how open would the commentators be with regards to, expressing such stuff on television, because
The only thing you could say, within the dissension of the EVPs is that
hmm,
they have, they mutually talk to each other. They are not best of the friends. uh,
hmm, hmm,
Cody Rhodes tries to stand out, from Kenny Omega and the Bucks, because Omega and the Bucks are actual friends. Cody, was
hmm.
they met Cody, down the road 4 or 5 years ago.
Yes.
There is some
So
mutual,
Kevin Steen, advised him when he left WWE
hmm,
to, meet the Young Bucks and, get along,
yeah.
so to speak.
If you want to talk about dissension, there could be something when it comes to Cody and the Bucks and Omega, because Bucks and Omega are trying to do the
Hmm,
similar thing, and their stories are actually pretty interesting compared to what Cody is doing as of.
hmm. Yes. The fact is that you can also say that there is also a difference in mindset, with regards to wrestling as a whole. How the people involved, like you just mentioned, they think about professional wrestling as a whole, how they think. So absolutely there can be creative differences or difference with regards to how they think of how the product should be. But if you are in the position of, let's say, a person who is making the show, that is Tony Khan, so he has to take all of the things in one piece, and he has to throw it out, because the fact is that he is taking everything into consideration, different elements, different sort of mindsets with regards to wrestling, and in throwing it out. Because there possibly, and there is possibly different mindset with regards to wrestling. But the fact is that yes, there should not be dissension, so to speak, with regards to the mindset with regards to wrestling, because that can which hurts the product, obviously. Because yes, obviously, storyline, I just wish that they all, even if they have a different mindset with regards to professional wrestling, the product will never hurt. Because I have heard, I have read, many people complaining about the product, that it, many of the portions look like they are of different universe, so to speak. But as long as it is entertaining, and as long as it is entertaining, and it is amazing, and it is getting the viewers, it is no problem. But the fact is that if there is the dissension with regards to the people, if it gets to a point that it hurts the product, then it could be a very problematic situation. I wish the best.
There you go, man. So that was
Mm.
Dynamite, and like we were talking about during the beginning, we could be expecting not if a exciting television for the next 2 weeks, at least till we get to that big title
Mhm.
match on that live edition.
Mm. Yes, absolutely. But let's be optimistic. Hopefully, the in-ring stuff and the promos are so engaging that it is not a bad experience. In the coming weeks, uh, this week's show, yes, it was a very big letdown. But yes, I'm optimistic that hopefully the coming shows would have good content, that we are not so much let down.
But yeah, man, before we leave, where can this find you?
Guys, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Abhimaniac, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel at Abhimaniac as well.
You can find Slamhub Wrestling on Twitter at SlamhubW, Instagram at Slamhub Wrestling. You can find the audio versions of this review on Anchor and Spotify as well. So this was the AEW Dynamite review, and we'll see you guys next time.